Hey everybody, hey traders, Chris Pulver here. Just after 7:30 p.m. Eastern time on Friday. Happy Friday. Not really from the market standpoint, but from me. No, we'd had a pretty wild day. We saw it all unfolding very quickly during today's daily profit play. We were, I would say, pretty fortunate to just get a very typical Friday morning. Things were pretty calm, pretty collected. We talked about some of the gamma levels this morning, not getting above 6760 and possibly staying above 6,700. But I said that is a vulnerable floor in case we break 67. We could have some, volatility to the downside. Boy, did we ever. We swept that 6,700 very quickly in literally 10 minutes. And from there, it was break, retest, and fall all day. I almost pulled the trigger on a broken wing butterfly, and I was going to put this broken wing butterfly in for a 50-cent credit with a $5 profit trap with the pin price at 65.55, and that would have paid 220 bucks. But as I kept putting the trade in my broker platform, I thought, I don't need to be a hero today. And this is, watch it be one of those days where we just blow through all of our planned and forecasted levels. Clearly, something fundamental is driving this market a little bit wild today. So I didn't want to be the hero. I warned people, do not try to call the bottom here. This volatility was long overdue. What was a little shocking was how I'd been talking about this 50-day moving average ad nauseum, literally for the last month or so, and we got there nearly today in one day. So take a look at the VIX, just a huge spike up from this morning. VIX went straight up. You take a look at the intraday price action, as gamma unfolded through the day. The floor originally was around 6,700. That clearly broke. Even my daily profit play indicator went nuts. We had this thing right in the middle of the day. Here's the previous day's closer on 67.34. So truly, I'm not surprised to see us break this because it was very much an outlier type day. We exceeded 200% ATR on the day. Why did I not try to call the bottom today? For this exact reason. We have not had meaningful volatility in literally weeks, and it just happened to be look, the market needed to get this out of its system. Like I said, I wouldn't be surprised if the market starts to show some aggressive dip buying early on Monday or Tuesday. And look, for waterfall income and for double ups, I'm probably going to position waterfall income more so for the bigger picture, like maybe December, we're above this level. Or I'm considering, let's give ourselves some time and maybe look into a April, May expiration for waterfall income and just see, look, we've got a 2 to 3% correction. I still think there's more coming. And I don't want to be bearish, but getting there in one day, unless Monday is a complete reversal of narrative. What was the big news today? Looks like we're going to start throwing tariffs back at China, and it sounded like Trump was upset he wasn't winning a Nobel Peace Prize. So it just was noise that came out of nowhere because the guy's been pretty quiet since Liberation Day's recovery. And it's been grow at all costs, grow, deregulate, debase. And we have experienced a crazy melt up, and everyone's been really bullish. But I think this needed to happen. I'm kind of glad that it did. Now it's a matter of where do we go from here? So is it sell off, dead cat bounce, sell off again? Taking a look at a very simple Fibonacci pullback, 23%, even 30%, getting back to previous all-time highs. That's where I'd like to be positioning for some dips to buy. That'd be a healthy correction. That's probably up to the 7, 8, 10% correction zone. So if we go from these recent highs, that is a 6.7% correction. That is a 8.5% correction. Previous all-time highs around 9.2%. Bring it on. I like the buy the dip. I don't think this is a bull market that is over and done with. I think the narrative could very quickly change. Trump and President Xi could still be meeting in November for the APEC summit, and this all could be backpedaled as early as next week. On top of that, you also have some frothy AI trades going on right now. You have a U.S. government shutdown. We haven't seen data on U.S. labor for the last couple of weeks. No non-farm payroll. So what's going to happen? CPI, PPI, and non-farm coming up when? This next week, maybe towards the end of the month before core PCE and FOMC. So all this stuff is just look, markets didn't really care about the government shutdown, but it's just throwing in all right, volatility, here we go. And, I'm also wondering, does the VIX have what it takes to get back above? Vol suppression funds will basically stop suppressing volatility around the 20 handle. So now that we are above 20, unless this is a massive reversion early next week, anything above 20 we might stay in this negative gamma environment for a little bit longer and have more to shed. Okay. And when this market is aggressive, you can see even this, if we had a couple of days of follow through, one huge candle with maybe one more day could peel this market back 5 to 8% pretty quickly. So I will probably take a stab with the waterfall income trade on Monday. We'll talk about this in class. 11:30 Monday mornings. We'll look and see if a strategy one is deployable, but I probably will go out a little bit longer. We'll talk about that more on Monday. Daily profit play, we will come in. There's going to be a high amount of volatility. The VIX should be pretty high. The implied move might be pretty solid, maybe a 30, 40 point move implied for the day. We should be able to sell some pretty far out of the money calls and puts, and hopefully markets stay within range. But we will see. So, I think that trade size is important. We did some VIX trades that were long the VIX, and that's actually paying out pretty nicely. So I'm going to be looking for some of these positions like VIX is here and up around $300. My full risk on VIX is, I want to say I'm risking like $900 total. And on the VIX right now, I'm up around $5,400. So it's not bad, given the fact that it's like, okay, are we creeping up on a 100% return? Yes. Can we get another flush on the VIX where we go up to 25 or 30? If so, I would like to take maybe a 200+% profit. And if we get there, that'd be a nice little short-term play in the VIX. Naturally, the VIX reverts. I want to be selling some premium. So there will be a lot to unpack on Monday next week. But the reason I want to do this video is I know I was not in the office this afternoon to close up for the final hour. But the reason I want to post this is when we have these crazy days, it's also nice to keep our wits about us and be calm, cool, and collected. We have been planning for a correction. I just said, I'm not sure how it's going to happen. What's going to make it happen? What is the catalyst? It wasn't a shutdown. It wasn't the Fed. But what was it? Trump talked today and the market reacted aggressively to the downside. So I didn't see that coming, but I can't say that I'm surprised. So we will see how this all gets kind of folded in next week. But like I said, let's show up and trade. We've got to face this market head on. Monday, we'll start out with Macro Monday. We'll do our job in daily profit play. I'll also be live with Kane on Monday so we can kick around the markets and see where he's seeing some levels. I also want to go out and see on the higher time frame for my gamma levels. Let's go to a swing trade here and see what this shows us for some bigger levels. Okay, so right now, and again, all this could have changed very dramatically today because of how aggressive this price action was. But 65.50, getting hit, 6,500 getting hit. The market shed, a quick 200 points, no big deal. I am a little disappointed that I did roll. I rolled that 66, 40, and 60. I did that for waterfall income and for daily profit play. And had I not rolled it, then I would have just survived the trade with a $600+ win. But I decided to roll it because I thought that the market, given the kind of natural 0 DD bounces and maybe a reflexivity on the day, would be selling off aggressively and then work its way back up where we have high, low, market fights back and it closes. If the market was greater than 66.40 today, I had on about $1,500 worth of risk. So I rolled it to 10.17, and this gives me now a total of about $650 of profit. As we come into the markets on Monday, if we are selling off more on Monday, I have until Friday. If the market's going to slide a little bit lower and get further out of the money, maybe that profit is partial. Instead of collecting $650, maybe I can pull in $100, $200. That is saving me literally $1,500 or more in risk. So I don't mind taking partial profits now because we also got paid on 2 bonus traps that were worth $1,000 and $400 respectively. So if I can get out of here with a break even or better, I'm still up in positive $1,400 on the butterfly spread, as well as the call condor that we did in waterfall. So if you're not in those trades, don't worry about it. This is just something that happened, in real time. So I did update this in Telegram because we've been talking about these trades the last couple of weeks. All right. So lots to unpack, like I said, coming into Monday's trading. I'm looking forward to being with all of you. Show up and trade. Let's do the process. Let's stick to the plan. Let's trade. We're going to see higher VIX, higher volatility, a lot of uncertainty. The market still has room to drop. It's not that far away. We might even gap lower on Monday and be through the 50-day. All right. So futures market on Sunday will be an interesting tell because if we open with a big gap lower, is that a gap lower that starts to get filled immediately, or is that a gap lower that sells off for one other nasty move? And that's probably my sign that I need to go. I had my son on my lap for a second. I tried to record this video twice, and he said, "No, no, no, I'm going to go make some noise." So anyway, I will let you go. Have a great Friday and a great weekend. Look, the market's not going anywhere. It's not going to love you back. We'll come back and do it again on Monday. Let's tackle next week and have a great week. All right. Have a good weekend, everybody. See you soon. Bye.